Welcome back to my channel, everybody, and a very special episode today where going to discuss who is the most insane creator scam. Now, there are a lot of different ways to look at this. It could be judged on views, it could be judged on subscribers, it could be judged on length of time or how much money they've made. So I'm gonna not kind of go over all those things, and I think that ultimately we come to a consensus on who is number one. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first, we got to start off with Mr. Beast. Everybody knows who Mr. Beast is. He blew up a while ago with some of these ridiculous challenges. I mean, ridiculous is probably an understatement. Some of the things that this guy does in his videos are just wild. And I remember when he first started making videos, he was already a millionaire at this point, but he was still doing these crazy challenges. And then it seemed like once he hit about 10 million subscribers, he stopped really doing them. But I think he still stands today because of those insane challenges. And maybe if he starts doing them again, he can reclaim the top spot. And I guess while we're on the topic of Mr. Beast, I do have to mention Spin This Will Win $10,000. That was one of the most watched YouTube videos of all time. Now, for something like that to work on YouTube, you do need a large audience. And in my opinion, I think that the creator with the largest audience right now is T-Series. They stand at 240 million subscribers. That is absolutely insane. If you don't know what T-Series is, basically, they're just a bunch of music videos from Bollywood movies. So there's no real way to compare this one to anybody else on the list because their whole thing is just music videos. And of course, if you're going to talk about India, you have to talk about India TV. They also have a ton of subscribers. This one is a bit more comparable because it's a little bit more like a game show, but it's not exactly like anything on this list. So I wouldn't put them in the running for most insane creator. The next thing that we have to look at is length of time on YouTube. And in my opinion, the creator with the longest lasting content and the most insane content is Practical Jokes. These guys have been around forever. Their content is still amazing, and they were one of the first creators to blow up on YouTube. All right, let's move on to another category, which is most insane amount of money earned. This one is pretty simple. It's obviously Ryan Trahan. He has earned $360 million on YouTube, and that is insane. The reason that he has made so much money is because he puts out these videos that are titled along the lines of what if you did this, or what would happen if you did this, and then he shows you. A prime example is if you gave every single person in America $1,000. And he's done a lot of other ones like that. In fact, he did a video called What Would Happen If Everyone on Earth Jumped at the Same Time? And the answer that he came up with was 0.7 millimeters. And he actually went out and tested this. He gathered up a bunch of people in California, and they all jumped. Then he got a bunch of people in England to jump at the same time. And then they added them all up, and then he converted it to millimeters, and it was 0.7. I think that's a great example of the type of stuff that he does and why he is the richest man on this list. Another creator who makes similar videos is Steve Mould. And he's gotten a lot of attention lately because he's been talking about flat earth theory. Not saying that it's true, just saying that's what he's been talking about. But he is definitely not the most insane creator on YouTube. I will say that he is definitely one of the smarter creators on YouTube because a lot of times in his videos he uses science to back up his points. But even in that case, some of the things that he said are insanely crazy. For example, he did a video called Is It Flat? Now, the reason why I put this in the most insane category is because in this video he pulled out a water level to make sure that the horizon was straight, and that's how he proved that the world was flat. And there's just so many things wrong with that statement. First of all, if the horizon looks straight to you, that doesn't mean that the Earth is curved. You just happen to be looking at the same spot as your reference point. And second of all, just because you see a straight line with a water level doesn't mean that the Earth is curved. In fact, there is an experiment that you can do with a water level to prove that the Earth is curved. And I have a video that talks about that. But I digress. I feel like we have to talk about one of the most recent creators to blow up, which is Andrew Kirby. And to be honest, I think that he's one of the most insane creators on YouTube. Not only because of the amount of views that he gets, but also because of the length of time that it takes him to edit his videos. And his content is just absurdly crazy. Like he's always doing these things that most people couldn't even dream of doing. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's blowing up so big. Another reason is because he's always doing these clickbait titles and thumbnails, and honestly, it works. If you want proof of that, just check out any of his videos. But I feel like we can't talk about insane creators without mentioning Mr. Who's the Boss. One of the biggest things that he did was eat a whole pizza covered in habanero peppers, and he didn't even seem to enjoy it. I mean, why would you subject yourself to that if you didn't have to? But I digress. That was not the most insane thing that he did. I feel like the most insane thing that he did was drink the Carolina Reaper smoothie. In case you don't know, the Carolina Reaper is the hottest pepper in the world, and he drank a smoothie that had 5 of them in it. And he took it like a champ. He didn't even flinch. And if that's not the most insane thing, then I don't know what is. There is one more creator that I need to talk about before we pick the ultimate winner, and that is Dude Perfect. I mean, honestly, they should have their own category just called Most Insane Creators. Because everything that they do is ridiculous. There's a ton of trick shots involved, and they pull off some of the craziest trick shots that I've ever seen. And not only that, but some of the videos that they put out are just completely insane. For example, one of their most popular videos is called Panda Crate Challenge. And in this video, they sent a crate to China filled with cameras, and they essentially set up a live stream where they filmed pandas opening up the crate. And they got millions of views out of that. And it was just a creative idea that nobody had thought of until Dude Perfect came around. All right, so now we've looked at all the different categories, and we have to pick a winner, and in my personal opinion, I think that the most insane creator on YouTube right now is Mr. Beast. I mean, he started off with these ridiculous challenges. He still has a massive following and a ton of subscribers. His videos are gaining millions of views, and that's why I think he is the most insane creator on YouTube. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.